Hello Flosstube. My name is Doris and some of you may know me as WindyBayStitches on Instagram. I decided to take the plunge and make my first Flosstube video. I've actually been watching for 2, maybe even 3 years, and I've really enjoyed getting to know people online and seeing everyone's projects, and I've learned a lot too. I have been stitching since I was a teenager, so that's quite a long time since I'm in my early 50s now. I'll just tell you a little bit about me, and then I'll share some stitching to get this started. I live in Northern Virginia. My name, WindyBayStitches, the Windy Bay part, is actually a reference to the town that I grew up in New Jersey, and I've got my sweatshirt on today. It's a town that's a small barrier island, and it was only 2 blocks wide near where we lived, and we had a house on the bay. And my bedroom window growing up faced the water, and beautiful view of the bay. But it was also often very windy there, especially in the winter. So, you know, having lived away from there for quite a long time, when I was thinking back, I often remember how windy it was, and so I gave it that nickname, Windy Bay. And I use that name on a couple different platforms now. I currently live in Northern Virginia, outside Washington, D.C. I'm part of the D.C. Metro Stitchers group, and they had a get-together yesterday, but I wasn't able to join this one. I have lived here since 1988. I came here right out of college for a job working in IT. And I worked in IT full-time for 30 years almost, and about a year ago I was actually able to retire, and so I've had a year off now, and it's been really great just having so much more free time and being able to indulge in hobbies and just enjoy life more, be outside more. I have 2 grown daughters. My older daughter lives in Philadelphia, and my younger daughter recently started graduate school in Akron, Ohio. And my husband and I are actually in the process of moving to Akron as well. We wanted to downsize, so we have our current home in Virginia on the market, and we've actually already bought a home in Akron, and we have it set up, and our daughter's there living already, and we're here in a house. Our house is about half empty, so I'm filming in my craft room, so I'm going to show you how sad it is now. We have blank walls, painted neutral gray. The whole house is this neutral gray now, pretty much. That's the color that the real estate agents recommend. It's just very generic and hard to not like, is what they say. So that's what we have. But it's kind of sad because I used to have so much fun stuff in this room. I had all my stitching supplies and things I collected. I had shelving, and the wall was pretty much covered with framed pieces, and my thimble collection, and I had a lot of vintage sewing boxes and tools, and some plush that I loved, and vintage kitchenware, and all sorts of fun stuff. But part of the downsizing process, I had to let go of some of that. I purged a lot of books, and I sold some things, mostly paper crafting supplies that I don't use as much now. And then the rest of it went into boxes and has already been taken to Ohio, and is mostly sitting in the basement and still packed up for now. But eventually we'll sell this house and take the rest of our furniture, and I'll be able to unpack a little bit more. So in the meantime, I just have a small set of projects that I'm working on. We've been traveling back and forth and spending time in both states for the last couple months. So today I thought I would just show you a few items that I'm working on. So the first, well, one of them, I'll show you a recent finish first. This is a little scissor fob. It actually came with the scissors, which are really cute. And it's a bee theme, and it has a little bee charm. And this was a kit that I bought. I changed the year on it since I didn't get around to it till this year. I bought this kit, I think at Salty Yarns in Ocean City. And I don't remember who made it. A couple other things I recently finished are these are Lizzie Kate holiday charts. This one is a patriotic one, and I also have a spooky one for Halloween. And this was, sorry, These were both free charts from Lizzie Kate, and I came across these actually in a thrift store. I like to go to thrift stores a lot, and I like to save the stitches, like some other people do as well. These were these kits that had actually been given out by a local shop called WindyBayStitches, which is down in Alexandria, and that's local, but for me it's an hour's drive, and so honestly I don't really drive down there to shop very often. I go maybe once a year typically. These were freebies that had actually, they were kits that they'd given out long time ago, I think 2004, 2005, as part of a Stitch Night promotion. So I picked these up and I decided to go ahead and finish them. I'm also, another small project that I started recently is this Jan Lynn. It's a Christmas card kit. This was also, I think, another thrift store purchase. I love stitching birds. I think they're really pretty. And so I'm just making this card. I'll probably give it to my mother-in-law for Christmas this year, and I'm about that far along. So that's a simple one that I can work on in the car. Another project that I'm working on, I'm almost finished. I think I can finish this today. This is actually sort of a commemorative sampler for the chapter of EGA that I belong to. I belong to Oatlands chapter, which is meets nearby, and we just celebrated our 35th year anniversary. And I've only been in the chapter, I think, 4 years, but there are members who've been in the chapter much longer, and I've really enjoyed being part of the chapter, and that's been my primary stitching group for the last few years. And so one of the members designed this. We had a very nice anniversary tea at Oatlands Plantation, where the chapter originally met back in the day, and one of the members designed it and gave it out. So gonna finish that and get that framed up somehow, hopefully in the next couple days. And the other big project that I've been working on recently is this red sampler. This is Butternut Road theme from Told in a Garden. This is the photograph of what it'll look like, and this one I am doing on a linen. I'll stitch on almost any fabric. I do still work on Aida sometimes. I'll probably start to move more towards linens, but I'll use almost anything, even weave. Those little Lizzie Kates that I sent, those were kitted up on these lower count fabrics, which I wasn't sure I would like at first, but they look kind of neat. They give it kind of a different texture. Anyway, here's my progress on this. So I'm gonna keep working on that too. Okay, I'm just checking my notes. So I think that's all I'm gonna share today as far as what I'm working on. It kind of gives you an idea that I do like to work on a mix of different things. I've got one other finished, it's a small piece. I've been working on trying to improve my finishing skills for the last few years, and I'm really grateful to other folks on YouTube that have shared so much knowledge and taken time to write instructions and film tutorials. So especially Vana, the Twisted Stitcher, and Priscilla from the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. I'm so grateful to both of you for how much you shared, and you're both incredibly talented, and it's just awesome that you're helping a lot of us build some of the same skills. So this little piece, for example, it's an older finish. I think it was a Little House kit that came with the threads. I'm gonna mount this with some of this homespun type fabric behind it, so that one's gonna be more Priscilla style. And I've also done a lot of small little cushions, more like this style, using Vana's tutorials. So I'm gonna be doing some of that too. In terms of stash or haul, I try not to buy a lot of stuff. I have quite a few things in my stash already, but I did recently in Ohio. I visited one of the local shops in North Canton. It's called Little Creek Needleworks, and so while I was there I picked up this one, which I have seen other people mention, and I also picked up this patriotic piece. So a couple more that I might start soon. And one other thing I may do soon is, I bought this kit a couple of years ago. It's actually to sew a pincushion. It's a turtle from Heather Bailey. It's a website. I may get around to starting this too, because I do still have my sewing machine here in Virginia. So that, I think, is all I'm gonna share today, other than just to say that I think what finally motivated me to make a video is that I really am grateful to all the time that people put into making videos. I know it takes a lot of time, and that was initially why I didn't, when I was still working full-time, I didn't want to take more time away from the hobby time that I had, and I was, still had more things going on with my kids. But I do have a lot more free time now, especially since I'm just kind of waiting for this house to sell. So it's a good time to step up and learn how to do a little bit of video editing and kind of join the party. So thank you all so much for all of the projects that you share and taking the time, and I look forward to interacting more in the future. So happy stitching.